Hi guys, Archie Luxury Unemployed Vlogs, and I've got some really sad news today. My good friend Mercedes Murray, passed away last night. And really quite sad. I woke up and checked my phone there, and I had the message on my phone. Hi Paul, this was Murray's partner. Murray passed away at around 1 AM this morning. He's now at rest. He fought a tough battle. Yes, he fought a very, very tough battle, and I was only talking to him on Friday. I was pleading with him to see him, and unfortunately that wish wasn't to come true. Yes, he passed away, and I thought I'd make this vlog as a tribute to him. And Murray was somebody who always liked a bit of a drink. Now, tribute to him, I'm going to have a scotch on the rocks. Some would say it's sacrilege to use a scotch like Lagavulin 16, but that's the best open scotch I've got. And I know Murray did like the Lagavulin 16. He was certainly partial to a good Lagavulin 16. So I think it's only fair that I have a drink as I talk about my friendship with Murray. My friendship with Murray the man, and I salute him. So Murray the man, well, what's the story there? Well, this was Mercedes Murray. If any of you guys remember my promo video I had from a couple of years ago, there was a black Mercedes-Benz E320 in it. That was Mercedes Murray. He lent it to me for a few days, and he's just a great guy. So I met Murray in 1994. I had known him for a few years before then, because I went to school with his son. Well, two of his sons. And then the son who I was good friends with, we sort of drifted apart a bit, as you do in life. He became a senior advisor to the one of the future prime ministers. But we sort of drifted apart because he had his career and he started a family. But me and his father became really good friends. We became really good friends, and I remember celebrating some events with Murray. I remember having a bottle of Dom Perignon with Murray. I remember, geez, I've known him since 93. I think it's 93. I remember I had my own computer business. He was in the HR industry, and he then started his own business, and we had we had business relations, but we were also good friends. We were also very good friends. And I remember when my business went shit, I remember going to his office at Kangaroo Point and going to the Storybridge Hotel and having a ploughman's lunch with Murray. I remember that, having a ploughman's lunch. I remember I was so nervous about my business had failed. What was I going to do? My whole meaning in life was sort of evaporating, and he was giving me suggestions. I helped Murray buy his first Mercedes-Benz. He bought a 180E 180E, and later on he traded that in for a a C. He traded that in. No, what did he have? I think it was a C180. He traded that in for a C240, the 6-cylinder one, and then he traded it in for the Mercedes, which you saw in the video, an E320. I remember when he got the car, I was just awestruck. That was my dream car. Metallic-y, blacky green with black interior, E320. The alloys that I like, the elegance option. Just a lot. And he always let me drive his bloody cars. When I was successful years before that, I had a little 3 Series BMW. I used to throw him the keys. Ah, you drive. You drive, Murray. And then he used to give me the courtesy of driving his Mercedes. Look, I'd known him for a long, long time, Murray. I'd known him for a long, long time. I knew him in 2009 when I just started my YouTube channel. I tried to go into the wristwatch wholesaling business, and I had some time on my hands. I was just ended my contract, and his business had gone bad. He'd had a HR business. He closed the offices, and he took it home. He sacked all the staff, and it was a bit of a down time for him. I didn't realize how down it was for him, but I'd come over and we'd have lunches together. We'd have lunches and a few snifters. We always had some wine, and he had chickens at that stage. We'd have fresh eggs. I remember getting bread rolls, Vietnamese bread rolls from the local shop at Dara. And we'd have beautiful, I'd get some beautiful steak, ribeye fillet or something beautiful. I'd have beautiful beef and egg. It was, we had a good time. We'd have a wine, and then I'd pick the kids up. Those were good days. They were good times looking back on that there. Very good times. I remember I stayed over his house one time. This was actually before that. This was in early 2000s. I'd stayed over there once, and he was always a good friend to have. Always a lovely guy to have. And Murray was a cool guy. I really did like him. I mean, I loved my dad, right? Murray was actually a year younger than my dad. But, you know, age and friendships doesn't really matter. I mean, my dad can be prickly. You know, parents can always be a bit prickly. I mean, Murray knew I loved cars. He knew I loved Mercedes-Benzes. He knew I loved cars. And, you know, he'd always let me drive his Mercedes. I mean, my own dad doesn't let me. My dad's got a Mercedes. He let me drive it once or twice. That's about it. You know, he's a bit of a shit when it comes to these things. Whereas Murray was just, you could talk to him about your problems without being judged. That's not to criticize my old man. My old man's got his own demons to slay, but yeah, Murray, Mercedes Murray. I loved the guy. I loved him to death. And we always had good stories and tales to tell. It was always fun with Mercedes Murray. We always had a great time together there. He had a beautiful property over at Brookfield. It's very close to the city, but it's an acreage. It's almost like you're in the country, but it's become very, very trendy suburb. And I used to go out to Brookfield to see him, and it was quite amazing, really. Quite I really loved him. He was a good friend of mine. You know, he wasn't, because he wasn't my dad, he wasn't judgmental. You know, I remember with Mercedes Murray, we went to court. I went to court with him a few times. He liked to drink. He liked to drink. And he had he got a DUI, slightly over conviction. And he also, later on, Murray went into the transportation business. He bought a courier. He bought a courier run. He really loved that job. He really loved that job. And then he had this bloody police officer find him, because couriers are allowed not to wear a seatbelt, and then they fined him for not. Oh, it's just an absolute disaster. You know, I went to court with him. I remember going to court with him, and that was only a couple of years ago. That. And he was a great guy. I really did love him. I loved him to death. We always had a good time. I mean, you could talk about women problem. You could talk about family problems. Got a bit of gossip. You know, they were good times there. They were good times. His politics was, he's a conservative. He liked the, he was a National Party. That's our very conservative party in Australia. He was a National Party supporter, always conservative. He was a good Catholic guy, but not judgmental. Believe you me, with a friend like me, you couldn't be judgmental, could you? And we always had good fun. I always liked to see Murray. It was always good to see him. It was always good to see Murray. It always good. I loved to see him. I loved to go out to his property, have a barbecue, or have something nice to eat. We'd have some drinks. We'd always have some drinks there. And I used to bring a girlfriend, whoever the girlfriend was at the time. I'd bring her to drive me home because I couldn't drive home after seeing Murray. And we had many good times together. Many good times together. We had many good times together. One whiskey I introduced him to was Amrat. This is the Indian, the very high rating Indian whiskey. And we both wanted to hate it. We both wanted to hate it because where Scotch whiskey is supposed to be the best. And we did some blind testings. I did some blind testings with him, and I remember we did a blind testing together with some Amrat, and I remember he was shocked. He said, "This is very good stuff," and completely brought him into the fold for Indian. Cheers, Murray. For Indian whiskey. And he was a good friend of mine. Good friend. We'd always love a good drink. Very good friend of mine, Murray. And the last time I went and saw him was actually in November. I thought it was sooner, but it wasn't that long. It was November 2016. Went out to his place. He told me he had cancers, but he was positive. He was upbeat. He's going to fight it. He's taking this new amazing cure, new drug to fight the cancer. And I remember I brought my suitcase, and I filled it up with some whiskies. I had a Glenlivet 18, and I brought a big bottle, not one of these small ones, of Johnny Walker Blue Label, which I gave him the blue label, but we drank we drank 3/4 of it together. And being Johnny Walker Blue Label, smooth as silk, you just drink, drink, drink. You don't realize how strong it is. And when he stood up, he fell over and knocked his head. I remember he cut his head because, not that seriously, he cut his head because it was so strong. Johnny Walker Blue Label, you don't realize you're completely pissed. You've drunk half the bottle and you think, oh, that wasn't so strong. You know. So yes, and sort of what happened was, so that's late 2016. So November, I saw him November 2016. And then 2017 just went by. I tried to contact him November, December last year, and he wasn't really available. So I kind of got onto him a couple of weeks ago, and because I hadn't seen him over Christmas. And then he told me that he had 3 months, possibly 6 months with radiation. Then I spoke to him on Friday. He said he's got 6 weeks left. And then I get the text message to say it's all over. And, you know, I kind of, with Murray there itself, that I mean, I'm sad because I love the guy. I love the guy. And we had such good fun together with tales of debauchery and life. And I'm very pleased that he was in my life. We had many good adventures together. We had many good adventures together. And it makes me really sad he's gone. Sad he's gone because I like the guy. I really like the guy. And the last conversation I had with him, I did say to him, Murray, I love you. I mean, this is not, I don't read anything into that, but you know, this is friendship between two guys, you know, like it's not a sexual thing. This is friendship. This is, and I said, I really do love you. I said, this is how it plays out. This is our last poker game, and yeah, it's. I would have liked to have seen him one more time, but it's not to be. Wasn't to be. I did tell him I loved him, and he was a dear friend to me. It puts everything into perspective. The troubles I'm facing, which I don't want to discuss on the channel until after the trial, but there's so many nasty YouTubers out there who try and attack me and damage my friendships that I have, and there's a lot of nasty people out there, but I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed having Murray as a friend. I had a lot of, it's funny in life, sometimes you have huge ups and then you have downs, and we were never jealous of each other. We've always wished the best for each other, and I had times where things were amazing, he had times where things were shit, and vice versa. It's very sad, you know. I feel sad. I mean, I'm not sad that, you know, he suffered a lot in the end there. I'm sad I can't ring him up for a joke and have a chat and bitch about left-wing liberal governments like I like to do. You know, I mean, even in his passing, he's helped me in my life. He doesn't even realize how he has. I mean, when, I don't want to discuss my legal problems, but when I when I had this terrible thing happen, when I had the police give me the notice to appear, it put it into perspective when he rang me and said, just so happened when I had my really, you know, I was a bit nervous and scared and that, and then he tells me he's got 6 weeks to live, which was actually, he had less. So it puts it into perspective for you. And I really love the guy. He, you know, I'd love to have him in my studio and have a scotch with him. And I'm so happy that last time I saw him in November 2016, I gave him a bottle of Blue Label. We drank it. We drank almost all of it together. And we drank about half because we were also drinking Grey Goose and some of my Glenlivet 18. We went through a fair bit of that. And he was a good mate. He was a good mate. And I really, we don't have enough good mates in our life. So, yeah, that's the passing of my friend Murray. What can I say? Cheers to you, Murray. Always in my heart, I always love you. What can I say? It's incredible. I'm incredibly sad that he's gone. See you later, guys.